Good day traders, this is Stefanos on behalf of Tixee, and in today's webinar we'll be giving an outlook of the market for the week of the 25th until the 29th of April. Now before we dive into the webinar, the key highlight for today is going to be the new earnings season, which kicked off a couple of days ago, and the fact that we'll actually have 8 companies, which are all included on Tixee's platform, reporting their numbers next week. As always, please know that all of the ideas discussed in the webinar are my own opinions and do not make up for any form of investment, trading advice, neither any recommendations to buy or sell. You should always do your own research and due diligence before buying or selling any securities, financial products, or instruments, and whether you use any kind of trading strategies. Any information that relates to past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, as we said during the intro, we'll be having 8 different companies reporting their numbers for the ongoing earnings season. So as it's quite a large number of companies, I've actually broken it down by the different days they will be releasing the reports. We're going to be starting things off with Microsoft, who will be reporting the numbers on the 26th. And Google is also going to be doing the same, again reporting the numbers on the 26th. Next up, on the 27th of March, we'll have 4 different companies on the same day, which is going to be Boeing, Facebook, PayPal, and Spotify as well. And then lastly, on the 28th, we will have Apple as well as Amazon finishing the week off. Now, if anyone is looking to specifically trade these events, I would highly recommend checking when exactly the report is going to be released. Meaning whether it's going to be during the pre-market hours or if it's going to be during the after hours. It has not yet been concretely disclosed for each company as to when they're going to be releasing the numbers, whether it's going to be morning hours or the after hours. So this is something that is likely going to be confirmed closer to the day of the report. So we recommend checking maybe a day or 2 before the actual report is released as to whether it's going to be during the morning pre-market hours or during the aftermarket hours. Let's not forget that if the company releases the report during the pre-market, then the impact will be seen as early as the open on the exact same day. Whereas if they release it in the after hours, then the impact will be seen with the open on the very next day. And we're going to get something like a gap down or a gap up, as you can see here, depending on what the outcome is going to be in comparison to the estimates. So again, it's very important to make note of the time it's going to be released, because essentially it will tell you as to when you can expect to see the move, whether it's going to be on the same day of the report or whether it's going to be on the very next day. Again, all of these companies that we mentioned, so we have, like we said, it's Microsoft. You can see it's already available. The other one was Google, which you can also see here. Then we mentioned Boeing. So there you have it. You can either type in the name, or if you know the ticker name by heart, you can also just type in, in this case, BA for Boeing. You will have Facebook or Meta, so you can try that one instead. And next up, we said PayPal. So PayPal here, you can see it there, again the ticker at the top. And then we'll be having Spotify, which is going to be the last one on the 27th. And then we mentioned we'll also have Apple, and then we're also going to be having Amazon on the 28th to finish the week off. So again, you can see pretty much all of them are available on the platform. Next up, moving on to Forex. Things are going to be a bit quiet on Monday, with the major events kicking off from Tuesday onwards. Again, as the usual, what we do for Forex, we'll just look at the economic calendar, which you can find on the homepage, navigating to the Education and Research tab, clicking on the economic calendar. And again, you have a host of filters that you can use here in order to readjust the data. For the sake of this video, we'll set it to next week and medium and high impact events. Again, do make note of the time zone here, because it's off of the UK time zone. So the hours you're going to be seeing here are based off of the UK time zone. So like we said, Monday's looking to it's going to be a pretty quiet day. Then starting from Tuesday, we'll have the unemployment rate from Japan coming in as early as 12:30 again UK time. And then towards midday, the next event of interest is going to be the durable goods orders coming out of the US. And we're also going to be having a speech from the Bank of Canada Governor Lane. This is as far as Tuesday. Moving on to Wednesday, we're going to be having the inflation rate coming out of Australia in the morning hours, again UK hours. And we're also going to having the pending home sales figure a little bit after midday coming out from the US. For those looking to trade the trade balance report of New Zealand, it's also going to come towards the very end of the day again in UK hours, which is going to be 11:45. Next up, on Thursday, we can see the high impact event here, which is going to be the interest rate decision coming out of the Bank of Japan. Again, let's not forget what I mentioned on the look back video, which is one of the few world banks who are still in negative interest rates, currently sitting at minus 0.1%. And next up, we'll have the inflation rate coming out of Germany, which is going to be towards midday. And then one of the most important events of the day is going to be the GDP growth rate coming out of the US, which is again going to be towards midday. So you're going to have this number of reports coming at more or less the same time. I guess don't forget to use the previews and the estimated figure, which you can obviously then compare with the actual figure and gauge more or less where the price will be headed next. And then Friday is actually going to be one of the busier days, if not the busiest of the week. We're going to have the GDP growth rate coming out from a number of EU countries, which is going to be France and Spain specifically, and also going to have from Italy as well and Germany. And if I scroll further down, we'll see we're going to have the generic figure coming out of the Eurozone. So you can see it's pretty much going to be an EU packed day, since we're going to have France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and obviously overall the Eurozone. Poland is also going to be reporting the inflation rate for those who are going to be looking at the zloty if they want to trade it against any of the other major pairs. We'll also have the growth rate coming out of Mexico for those trading the Mexican peso. And then towards midday, we'll be having the personal spending or income figure coming out of the US, which is going to be released more or less at the same time as the GDP figure coming out of Canada. So as you can see, Friday is actually, it's going to be the busiest day of the week. So definitely a day to keep an eye on in case you want to trade any of these events. And next up, we'll be looking with regards to commodities. Since we're looking at the economic calendar, might as well go on to Wednesday, which is again the day that we're going to be having the crude oil inventory report, which is going to be released at 3:30 in the afternoon, which is again in UK hours. If we pull up the chart for oil as well, as we mentioned during the look back as well, we see that it's trading just above the $100 mark. So the next few days and weeks will be interesting to see whether it's going to be able to hold up, given the shortage you have in supply and the reluctance from some countries to pump more oil into the market in order to further control prices. And if not, whether it's going to be able to break below the $100 mark and continue lower. Gold on the flip side is already trading below its key level, which was the 2000. It's currently at 1950. More or less. And if we also want to put the RSI, it's kind of moving lower. So you can see here, I'll keep it at the default setting, but obviously you can change it if you want, just by right clicking and adjusting the settings. But it's pretty much sitting at the midpoint mark, which is 50. So if it crosses below and we have this strong bearish candle closing like this, and we could potentially see further downside, which we could see it through down to the lows down here. And the last asset class we're going to be looking at is going to be cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin specifically. For those who have been tuning in for the past couple of weeks on the webinars, you'll know that this is the pattern that we have been looking at for the past couple of weeks, which is a bearish flag. Again, we had the impulse wave, which was all the way from up here, which was 69,000, all the way down to 33,000, and ever since we've been just consolidating in this little channel here. Right now we're trading towards the lower limit of the channel. So if the price is still consolidating and we don't see any significant pushes, we could see eventually the price breaking below and out of this channel And if it does, it basically has room to trade into this zone, which it's pretty much the closest zone that it could face some sort of resistance if it trades all the way down here. So yeah, there you have it. This as far as the outlook for next week's markets. Again, keep an eye on all of the companies that are going to be reporting their numbers, and again, the ones that are obviously available on tixee's platform if you wish to trade those reports. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and you found it useful, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Till then, trade safe.